Hey, Alicia here with Small Business Saturday shout out. And if you're a woman who is a leader, or you're looking to lead, or you know someone who's a leader that's a woman, you need to go grab her right now, or you need to sit down and watch this show because it's all about women empowering women in leadership. So I'm going to give you 30 seconds to go grab someone, grab a drink, sit down, and get ready to learn more about leadership. Well, hello and welcome to Small Business Saturday Shout Out. I'm your host, Alicia Couri, and today we have an amazing guest with us. And we're going to explore women in leadership, and we're going to really learn more about how you can elevate your skills as a leader through COMFLUENCE. Yep, I didn't say that wrong. You got to stay tuned to find out more about that. But before we do that, I just want to welcome all of you to the show. Those of you who are watching on YouTube, thank you so much for joining us. If you're on LinkedIn, hi LinkedIn, hello Twitch, and hi those of you who are tuning in on Facebook. So just a couple quick things. If you go to our YouTube channel, can you hit that subscribe button and just subscribe so you don't miss any of our amazing content that we have on YouTube? So just go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And if you'd like, hit the notification bell so you know when we go live. If you are on Facebook, I invite you, in fact, wherever you are, I invite you to join our Facebook group. You know, we have a community there of small business owners, and who we do quite a few things in that group. First of all, we have this show, Small Business Saturday Shout Out, where you can, of course, highlight yourself and your business on this show. The next thing we have going on is we do masterclasses. So we have some masterclasses in that group that you can be a part of. And the third thing is quarterly networking events. And we have one coming up at the end of November. So we have these quarterly networking events where you can meet each other, mix and mingle. It's a lot of fun. And some people have done deals together. Some people have collaborated together. So you want to be a part of this group. And it's really a value. So you can promote whatever you have going on in that group to other business owners. So if you are a B2B, even if you're a B2C, it's a great place where you can promote your products and services there as well. Because businesses are consumers too. You know, it's, we're all made of people, so we're consumers as well. So if you have a B2C, it's also a great place to promote your business. I invite you to leave a comment with us. You know, if this information is valuable to you, if this content is valuable, go ahead and leave a comment. Tell us hi. Let us know how you that you're watching. And also, I want to let you know that Small Business Saturday Shout Out. Every Saturday that we do this, there are 3 ways that you can get a shout out for your business. The first way is, of course, to be a guest on the show. And the second way you can get a shout out is to run a 30-second commercial during the show. And I run those before and after our guests. And so you can have your 30-second commercial run during that time. And then the third way that you can get a shout out is just by leaving a comment. How simple is that? Just comment who you are, the business that you have, and I will shout it out on the show, and you'll see it appearing on the banner across your screen. So those are some simple ways that you can get a shout out here on the show. And if you would like to connect with me and follow me, go to alicia360.com, where you can connect with me on any social media platform. And so I would like to invite you to join our group. The group is facebook.com/groups/SBSSO, and that's for Small Business Saturday Shout Out. This show is sponsored by Alicia Couri Inc., and it is produced by Red Carpet CEO. And also, I would like to let you know that you can sponsor a show yourself. In fact, today I have someone who is coming on the show, and she is going to be a sponsor of the shows, the next few shows we have coming up. So look out for that. And I am going to bring my guest up because, listen, I don't want to take up any more time to share these amazing leadership tips and what Linda has in store for you next month. It is so phenomenal. But I want to take just one more second to wish my daughter a happy birthday. Tomorrow is her birthday. Yes, she's a Halloween baby, and she will be 24 tomorrow. So happy birthday, Cassie. I know you're not watching, but it's okay. Still want to say happy birthday to you, my darling. And I will be back in just 30 seconds. Welcome back to Small Business Saturday Shout Out. I'm your host, Alicia Couri, and I'm so glad that you're back with us because coming up, and I am not kidding when I say that she is just such a phenomenal woman, that you all need to learn more about her. But coming up, I have with me today Linda Patton, and let me tell you about her because she's an awesome lady. She is the founder of Dare to Lead with Linda, international speaker and best-selling author of the book No One Stood Up When I Entered the Room: One Woman's Journey to from Command to True Leadership. She's also a radio host on Voice America. She's a leadership expert, mentor, and trainer, a gifted communicator, regularly featured live and online on business panels, interviewed as a leadership expert, and as a popular speaker and seminar leader on topics related to business and leadership in her 16-week program, Awaken the Leader. She holds an MBA in leadership, a bachelor's in nursing, a certificate in meeting management, various leadership positions in professional associations, major organizations, and in the military as a U.S. Army major. So I am super, super excited to welcome to the show Linda Patton. Hi, Linda.
Hi, Alicia. It's so good to be here. This is a really great forum for small business owners.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I am glad to have you here on this too, because there's so much we can learn from someone with your experience and your background. And you went from the military, from your bio, you went from the military into leadership. So being a woman in the military in a position of command, how was that for you?
Uh, it was an interesting adventure. Generally, okay, I came through the military during the Vietnam War,
Mhm.
so it was not popular to be in the military. But my boyfriend had been killed in a helicopter crash, and
Oh,
I felt very called to finish the work that he'd started. Unfortunately, the Women's Army Corps didn't see it that way. Instead, they sent me other places to serve. The interesting thing is that it's because of your rank that you are accorded someone to listen to you. So, for
mm.
example, I had a sergeant who did not believe in women leaders and especially
Oh,
not women officers. And he told me, he said, I will walk around the block before I salute you, ma'am.
wow.
Well, I figured out a way to walk around the other way and he had to salute me. So I did things like that. But I also, I think the cool thing was I got to stand on a parade field with 2,400 women in front of me. And at the sound of my voice, every one of them moved in sync. There's
Yeah.
power in that.
Yes.
It's the telling style of leadership. And it works in the military, although I'm beginning to see shifts in the
Hmm.
military, in SWAT units, in firefighters, first responders in how they plan and how they execute. But I went in the military because I really wanted to lead, and corporate would not let me do that at that time.
Right. That's in the 70s.
Yes, yes. So I loved it. I really had a great time. I met my husband there. We've been married for 45 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank
That's
you.
wonderful.
Thank you. He was a lieutenant in the military police when I was still a lieutenant, and I just kept creeping up. And yes, I did retire as a major. Um, and from there, I went to corporate.
Yes.
And what was really sort of interesting about moving from the military to corporate was that the bulk of the leaders in corporate at that time had just come out of the Vietnam War. So
Mm,
their style was command. And
right.
I felt so comfortable because I understood that. I knew what
Yeah.
to do with that. Uh, but it turned out that that wasn't necessarily the best
The
in
best.
many ways. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So so that's interesting. Yeah. So leadership in the 70s, 80s was all about this kind of militant leadership, like do as I say, and you'd face consequences otherwise. And so how have you seen leadership really evolve into now what you have coined as confluence?
COMFLUENCE. In the mid 80s, I was my my bank was bought by another bank, and I
Mhm.
was out of a job. And I thought this was a perfect way for me to shift from command to influence. I mean, it's what John Maxwell says is that leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. I do disagree with him, but I tried it. I wanted to
Mhm.
see what would influence do? How would it be different? And what I found was that I was too soft. I wanted to know everything about my people, you know, their vision, their family, what they did on weekends, it's just everything. But unfortunately, they wanted to know the same about me. And it got to
Wow.
a place, yeah, it got to a place where they felt comfortable coming in and saying, "Hey, you know, you gave me this project to do, and I just can't get it done. Can you do it?" And being the boss, I said, "Well, sure, I can do it."
Mhm.
It became, though, why do I hire you? Why do I have you on staff? Why am I
Mhm.
paying you money when I'm doing your work for you?
When I'm doing it right.
Exactly. And it was a very interesting time. And I also found that it was very difficult to have those tough conversations when somebody isn't doing the job. Even so, I still found that my staff, as soon as they could find another position, were gone. And I
Oh,
always thought it was because I'd created an atmosphere where they learned a lot and they experienced a lot and they felt comfortable moving on, never knowing that they were doing it because of me.
wow.
And and my clients were in a lot of ways the same way. It was one and done. They didn't want to continue projects. It was let's
Hmm.
get through this one and I want out of here. So, as I like to say, I was ready to throw in the towel on leadership and say, I'm not doing this.
Doesn't
I
work.
have no skills in these areas.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. And that's a lot of self-awareness. You realize everybody's leaving me. Why is everybody leaving? And then so in um discovering that, what did you do?
Well, besides the fact that I wanted to basically quit and do something else, I actually entered um, a period in my life where I sort of sat back and I went, okay, if it's not command and it's not influence, then what is it? There has to be a style that works, that brings people together, that you have a shared vision, you know what people are looking for in their jobs and how they want to be led, etc. And I was sitting, it's one of those things you're sitting there meditating, and this word flashes through my mind. I'm going, confluence? What's confluence? Well, it's the first three letters of command and the end of influence. And
Hmm.
so it's basically the joining of the two styles. and creates a beautiful synergy in leadership. I like to sort of relate back to the dance world. You know, while
Hmm.
solo dancers are beautiful and they can be choreographed phenomenally, it's really when dancers are in partnership that the excitement's there and the grace and everything else. And in essence, confluence is that alignment of the masculine and the feminine to create a beautiful, beautiful dance that
And
allows you to build your business.
I love how you brought those two together because and correct me if I'm wrong, because you do coach women leaders a
Mm-hmm,
lot. The command side of it for women, it's not always comfortable.
mm-hmm,
And so putting, just like what you experienced, putting you in that position in business can feel a little out. You can feel out of your element a little bit, and you want to be able to bring more of that I don't, for lack of a better word, softer side,
mm-hmm.
more of that nurturing side into your leadership without sort of being a pushover.
Exactly. And command can come across very harsh. And I know I had employees who worked with me who said, I don't want to be that leader. I don't want
Mhm.
to be like that.
Mhm.
And so there's a need for setting direction and expressing what the vision is and where you're going and that kind of thing. And to be hard if you need to when things aren't going the way they should. I
Right.
talk about first responders a lot. I mean, one of the worst things that can happen to a firefighter is you're up on the floor just below the fire and you go, we have to get out of here. We're going to take that staircase. And you have somebody who's standing over there who goes, you know, I want to take this staircase. I like this staircase better. It's cleaner. It's
Yeah.
got more lights. And you know that that is a funnel for the fire. You don't want that kind of argument. There are
Right.
moments when you have to have, I say something, you do it. We can talk about it later. And yet, what I find with first responders now, at least what I'm seeing, is that their planning is more inclusive. It's not
Mhm.
just the the captain or the commander who's saying this is what we're going to do. It's what should we do? Here's the scenario. Here's the map of where we're going. What do you think? Here's the inroads, here's the outroads. That kind of thing. But once
Right.
they get on the ground, it's all command. We're doing
Yes.
this. This is the way we're doing it. And I think that's the cool thing about Confluence is that it
'Cause it
allows
gives them
you.
a voice. It gives
Yes,
everybody on the team a voice.
exactly, exactly. And it allows you to ask questions
Mm.
and to propose, well, we could do this, or how about that? And but when you decide that this is where you're going, then
I'm
that's
in
it.
charge.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
leading the ship, right?
Yeah.
So that's a really great observation, because I was going to ask you about a case study of, if you could share, of how this type of leadership works for women. If there's a client that you've had or someone who's been through your program, and then we're going to talk about the program, but someone who's been through the program that you could share their successes.
Actually, I'd like to share my own.
Sure.
Um, I I was on a jury, and I don't get chosen for juries often because my husband's an attorney, and they don't want me on the jury. And it was around Christmas time. We had a cruise scheduled that was leaving on Saturday, and I knew I had to be out of the jury box by Friday latest. Well, we get the case on Wednesday afternoon, and we select a four-person, a gentleman who had experience, and he wants more information. I'm going, we don't need any more information. We've got everything that we need. We're good.
He's a fact finder.
Exactly. Exactly. So the next morning, I go to the bailiff and I said, "Hey, do you suppose we could get some flip chart paper and maybe some markers and some tape?"
Mhm.
And he's sure. So he brings them in, and I put them up on the wall, and I write each of the charges. that we had to decide on and what it would take to convict. That's command.
Yes.
I set it up. This is what we're going to do. Then I allowed influence to carry the discussion. It was, okay, this is what these are the charges, these are the conditions under which we can convict. What do we know? What is the evidence? And we had people who wanted to play devil's advocate and go, well, what about this and what about that? We finished in less than an hour because we were focused,
Mm-hmm.
and I still allowed, I mean, the process allowed discussion, and it allowed people to bring up, well, what about this? How about that? But in the end, we convicted him on all 5 counts.
You know what I love about that story so much is that you didn't usurp the foreperson's
Mm-mm.
authority. You didn't usurp authority. So you can lead on a team without actually being the leader of the team. But if you see things kind of running off the rails, you can take that command without really being rude or
Mhm.
abrasive or feel like you're overriding someone else, but you can use that confluence leadership style that Linda will teach you how to do that and influence the room without taking over the room. So it is so that's so incredible. I love that. Hey
Thank you.
Dora says you never go wrong being assertive and focusing on the facts.
So true. So true. Well, and it's not getting in the weeds,
Mhm.
as they say. You, one of my colleagues likes to say, you're in the crow's nest looking down. There are moments when you do need to be in the weeds doing the work, but when you're leading and you're trying to get a plan of attack or whatever it is that you're going to do, really being up
Yeah.
there and looking at the whole picture is really, really important. And it's
Yeah.
one of the things that I can say all of my women have said is that they wanted to firm up their influence. They felt
Mhm.
that they wanted the cooperation, the collaboration, the compassion, the empathy, all of that. But they didn't want to be, how do I want to put this, mushy
Mhm.
about it. They wanted it to be just a part of who they were, and that it could come into play as needed without getting all, muddy and all that.
Yeah.
And they also didn't want the command to be so harsh that people would,
Yeah.
sit up and go, "Excuse me, you said that to me."
Right.
So what we do is bring those together in a more moderate. Look, we're not at the extremes of either one. We're in that middle of the pendulum,
Mhm.
and moving easily in and out of command and influence.
So if you want to learn more about that, you have to join, and I'm going to put this up on the screen. Dare to Lead with Linda. You can go check more of that out at her website. It's daretoleadwithlinda.com, and make sure the two is the number two. So dare number two, lead, dare to lead with Linda. So go ahead and check that out. If you want to connect more with Linda, go to LinkedIn. It is linkedin.com/in/Linda Patton, Patten. And if you would like to email Linda to find out more, you can go ahead and email her, linda@daretoleadwithlinda.com. So let's talk about this 16-week program that you have coming up in November.
Yes, I'm so excited. This is our I want to say second go round. The first was so phenomenal, and the women who were in it were just amazing. They gained so much confidence and focus and organization, as well as being able to bounce ideas off of the group. We do have a really strong feeling about holding people accountable for the work that they're doing. And so they have time with me, uh, individual time with me, as well as they have an accountability partner who they're accountable to as
Mhm.
well. And we sort of hold their feet to the fire around that.
Nice.
But the topics that we cover, my one of my colleagues guarantees that you will get back 7 to 10 hours a week. Now, can you imagine if you got 7 to 10 hours a week back to do other things and you taught it to your people,
What could I
what that would
accomplish?
do with
Ooh,
what you could accomplish in a year? We talk about mindset, we talk about resilience. It is so important as a leader to be resilient, to be able to, again, flow with what's going on in your business, in the world. I mean, we all had to pivot during COVID 19.
sure
Did you
did.
pivot successfully, or were you one of the ones that went under?
Hmm.
Interesting thought. We talk about leadership style. So we talk about all three styles and how to use them and where are you strongest and how do we build up the side that perhaps is not as strong. We develop your vision for at least the year, if not going out 5 to 10 years, so you know
Hmm.
where you're going. We talk about your mission. What's the mission of your organization? What's your personal mission? And then I have a really favorite topic that we go through, which is name your year. I've been doing this since 2016,
Hmm.
and I have had some of the most phenomenal names for the year. The first one was, and the Oscar for the best cat herder goes to Linda Patton. I wrote a book called The Art of Herding Cats,
Yeah.
which is a 12-step program for reluctant leaders. And
Huh.
so 2020 was clear vision.
Hmm.
Naming that gives you, again, focus.
Direction.
Where
Hmm.
are you going? We do have a workshop that's a 4-hour workshop that
Hmm.
covers those topics in greater detail. And we begin the process for the last uh, topics, includes an integration of how do we integrate everything that we've learned so far. We look at what's your message. Many of us have a project, a cause that we're
Hmm.
involved in, and we have a message and a mission that we want to get out to the world. I have a wonderful colleague who has done some of this work with me, who wanted a particular area in California to be more democratic. She wanted it to be blue. She didn't want it to be red, and so they became the Tracy Dems for Democrats.
Hmm.
And I watched this woman stand up in a park where she anticipated her family, some friends, to show up. She had close to 200 people show up
Wow.
for her first event. And she said to me, "What do I do?" I said, "You get out there and you tell them
Yes.
your
Own
message."
your voice.
Yes. And she did. And they have created this amazing group of people. And they pull Democrats from other areas who don't need to really focus on the Democratic side because California, as you know, is primarily Democratic.
Hmm.
And she's been highly successful. They've increased the percentage of people voting as well as the percentage of Democratic votes that they get because they're hands on and she's out there talking the talk, speaking
And
the
walking the
message,
walk.
and
Yeah.
yeah, and teaching people about it.
So
We
this is
talk,
a
mhm,
16-week course
yes,
that and this is a perfect time to do it because as we're looking into 2022, you
yes.
can start this planning now to get ready. I don't want to say get ready, to start planning now so that 2022 you're starting off already ahead of the game. So now is the best time. So when is this course launching and how can people sign up?
We launch on da, 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 November 17th. So
So
you
it's just in
have,
a couple weeks.
yeah, you've got a couple weeks. The easiest the easiest way would be to go to the landing page. And Elisa, you actually have a link that they can go to schedule a conversation with me about it. And there's no there's no obligation. It's I give you some free coaching and mentoring on the call. I find out more about you, what your goals are as far as being a leader is, and to see if you are the right fit. Not everyone is the right fit for the program.
That is true. That is true. I apologize. I didn't have that link ready, but I am getting it. I will have it in the comments so that anyone who wants to avail themselves of that link, I will put that in the comments for you so you can go ahead and schedule time to talk to Linda before the 17th.
Oh, yes, please. Yes. And like I said, the folks who went through it in that ended earlier this year, are singing the praises of it helped me do some key projects that I needed to do, a customer service program, a thing on water, how to what are we going to do with the church? Do we go
Mm.
back to being face to face? Do we do a hybrid meeting? What do we do? And we were able to really set that intention and
Mhm.
to be able to begin to look at, what is the appropriate thing for us to do. And I so appreciate the people who were in the first program. They were phenomenal, and I get to still call them my friends.
That's wonderful. So, Linda, any tips, leadership tips? I know we've talked about a lot of ways that people can become better, but can you give us some just two actionable tips that people can take with them today before we close off?
I think one of the key things is looking, I hate to say it, looking at your results.
Mhm.
Are you getting the results that you wanted? Is your team with you for the long haul, or are they disappearing? Do you have customers that repeat? And if they don't, have you had the courage to ask them why not?
Mm, that is huge. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Because when you get that feedback, it tells you so much about your leadership and where it breaks down.
Hmm.
And
Wow.
that's key to making change in leadership.
Well, those are some really amazing, actionable things because you need to, and I'll just add one thing to that because if you have clients that are leaving and you ask them, have the courage, the audacious confidence to go ask them why they left, why they're leaving. But also, another side of that coin is if you have a client that is renewing, also find out why they're renew.
Hmm. What do they like about you? What
Yeah,
inspires them? Why are they coming back? Uh, and
exactly.
and the same goes for the people who work with you. If you find that your staff is leaving or they disappear in the night, I mean, you
They
email
just
them,
ghost you.
phone them, and you can't get a hold of them. Finding out why can be golden for you as a leader, as a manager, as just a woman. What is it that is causing you to leave? Now,
Hmm.
in some cases, it's I'm moving on to a different project, or I'm moving to a different area, or whatever it might be, and that's
It's out
great.
of your control, right?
Exactly. Although I did find that some of the people who, when I was in corporate, left for other jobs were just looking for getting out. And it did not make me feel really good. I thought it was because I'd done such a wonderful job in training them and giving them experiences. And it turned out it wasn't quite like that. So I learned
Mm.
a lot from the people that I worked with and the people who were part of my staff, and that even today I still learn from my staff. I have some phenomenal women who work with me in
Mhm.
the writing aspect and the publicity, and as I say, I have an integrator who takes everything else and just makes it all work.
Yeah,
And
that's so
I thank
important.
them all for being part of my team.
So we will post that link because I do not have it. So we will post that link for you to book time with Linda in the comments. So look out for that link. And Dora, thank you so much. Dora said not everyone's a good fit. We aren't a good fit for everyone, and that's true. But
That is
it's
so
also
true.
good to know who on your team, when who is a good fit and who isn't.
Well, and
So
Alicia, one of the things we do talk about too is you, as an entrepreneur, when you open your company, you have your pictures in every box on the organization chart. And the key thing is to replace them with people who have expertise in those areas.
yes, yeah.
The challenge is you don't want to hire people like you.
No, you can't. You cannot
No,
hire this people that are just like you because that can sometimes create
uh,
more problems than anything else.
exactly. And what you find is you're fighting over who's going to do the job.
Yeah.
No, because
You
you're good
need
at it, they're good
diversity.
at it, and yeah.
And
So
diversity, you need diversity, not just when we're not talking about um, diversity in race and gender and all those things. While you do need that kind of diversity, you need strength diversity too. You need
mhm,
diversity of strengths. You need to
exactly,
be, we all can't have the same strengths and try to do different jobs. So we all have to have diversity in personalities, diversity in strengths, because that's, sometimes it's the resistance that creates lift.
yeah.
So if we all think the same, uh,
I know.
we'll all be stuck in the same loop, doing the same
And
thing.
Alicia, one of the things I dearly love is people who give me pushback. Who
Yes,
say, I don't know if that's such a really great idea. How
because it
about this?
forces you
Yeah.
to
Well, it forces me to think.
think. Exactly, it forces you to think outside of what you normally think. So
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
love that. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate this conversation, and I would like everybody to go check out daretolead.com. Go check out Dare to Lead with Linda. Sorry, daretoleadwithlinda.com. Go to that website, connect with Linda on LinkedIn. Go to Linda Patton on LinkedIn. And then, of course, you can email her Linda at daretoleadwithlinda.com. And I will share everything else that I need to share with you in the comments. So thank you all so much. Thank you, Dora. Thank you so much. If you know a woman in leadership or someone who desires to be in leadership, or, you know, I guess that covers it. If you're already in leadership and you want to sharpen those leadership skills, or if you desire to be in leadership, if you desire to start your own business, then you are a leader. So connect with Linda because she has over 40 years of experience in developing leaders, female leaders. So if you're a woman and you're leading, connect with her. She knows what she's talking about. And she's already given us some really amazing examples in this interview of breakthroughs and ways that she has helped not just others, but also herself in
Mhm.
her leadership journey. So thank you again, Linda. I appreciate you being on the show. And again, we'll get that link to you.
Perfect. Thank you, Alicia, so much for asking me to be here. It's been a delight, and your audience is phenomenal.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. So we'll see. I'll just stay right here, Linda. I'll talk to you after the show.
Okay.
So that was Linda Patton. Thank you, Stone, for joining. Thank you for the tips. She says, thank you for the tips. You are very welcome. Again, go to daretoleadwithlinda.com. Check it out. She has a 16-week program, Awaken the Leader, and it is built and designed for women in leadership, teaching you confluence, how to command and influence, how to bridge that gap and really be a more powerful and successful leader for your organization, for your teams, for your community, because it's not just in business, it can also be for your community, as one of the examples she shared with us. So, you can use this technique for every area of your life to help you lead stronger and better and take command, but also not be so harsh with it. So check out Linda, connect with her on LinkedIn, and then here's her email address one more time. It's Linda at daretoleadwithlinda.com. Thank you so much for joining us here on Small Business Saturday Shout Out. I am your host, Alicia Couri. Stay safe, have a great Halloween, and I will see you next week. We have another amazing, a really great guest, and she has a product that is just so amazing that you're gonna want to come hear all about it. So I will see you next time on Small Business Saturday Shout Out. Mwah. And don't forget, if you want to connect with me, go ahead and connect with me. Let me share with that with you. It is alicia360.com. Just go on and connect with me on all social media platforms. And you can send me a message if you'd like to be a guest on the show. Just leave a comment, DM me. You can find me and let me know that you're interested in being a guest on the show so we can send you the booking link to be a guest on the show. This show, again, was sponsored by Alicia Couri, Inc., and produced by Red Carpet CEO. And I will see you next week on Small Business Saturday Shout Out.